Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. It is almost October. I think tomorrow, when this comes out, is October 1st. That just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was talking to Carter this morning, and I was like, holy shit, it's not July. Like, where did this year go? More specifically, the summer. Like, I don't even know what just happened. I guess Carter was studying for the bar, so that was just like a time warp, but it is October 1st. And I've been trying to find decor, you guys. I really am trying to be that bitch. Now that I'm in my stay-at-home girlfriend era, which I'm loving, by the way, you guys, I'm doing the laundry, I'm doing the dishes, I'm cooking the meals, I'm doing everything, and I love it. I'm packing Carter's lunch. Okay. I had no idea that I would like it this much because you guys know me. I'm not like a modern day feminist. I was thinking about this because I feel like if you say you're not a feminist, like obviously I stand behind women. I don't really know what feminist means, to be honest. And I think that in today's day and age, there are so many different definitions of it. And like modern feminists, like, you know, Carter is a traditional man. So I guess that makes us a traditional family, which you guys know that I never thought I was going to be a wife. I never was sure if I was going to have kids. Like that just was not something I was always open to it. Like I'm a lover girl, but I was also like, you know, I've seen a lot of bad relationships in my life. I also am super selfish and I don't know if I want kids. Like that's kind of where my head was at. But obviously I have respect for like stay-at-home moms, like the whole thing, but I just like didn't know what was in store for me. And now that I'm kind of exposed to like this stay-at-home girlfriend life, like taking care of the house, which okay, is basically what I did for the nanny family, you guys. Like that prepared me so much for this, for being a stay-at-home girlfriend. For anybody that's new, okay, today's episode is going to be on potential. How to stop falling in love with this potential, things that you can do, why it happens. We're just going to discuss, you guys. In my notes app, I just jotted down a million things. I'm not really going to go in order. We're just going to discuss it. I don't have that many life updates just because honestly, my life is going to be like super fucking boring from here on out. However, I know that I have new Instagram followers, and for my OGs, you guys, I started posting on the reels because I'm now a content creator and I've got to do the thing. And honestly, the reels are popping off. The reels are popping off, which I'm kind of just like remaking my most viral TikToks because that's my thing. That's my niche. I love it. You guys, it never gets old. Like, you know, my most common hate that I receive is like, this bitch says the same thing again and again. But it's like, I'm just trying to reach my girls who are dating, who are going through a breakup, who need whatever advice I'm giving, and I just love it. Like genuinely, I could do it for the rest of my life. Like number one, the community that I've created, I always get messages, especially now with the Instagram reels. Like I've had such an influx of Instagram messages of girls being like, oh my gosh, I needed your videos. I'm like, hey bitch, I've been doing this on TikTok for 2 years. You're just late to the party. For real. I'm like, wait, you guys have never seen my face? Not like I expect everybody has, but like most heartbroken girlies or just like young girls, I feel like at one time in their life, if they're on TikTok, have probably seen one of my TikToks, you know? And there's like this whole group of people on Instagram who don't use TikTok. And I'm like, oh my gosh, welcome to the party. You're late, but I'm here. Okay. So anyways, I'm doing the Instagram thing. So I've been getting more listeners here on the podcast as well. Obviously, now that I'm like reaching this new group of people, which is amazing. So if you're new here, hi, my boyfriend just became an attorney and you guys, it's going so well. For all of you that have asked, I do get a lot of like law questions just because I have a lot of girlies either in law school or in big law or what have you. They're attorneys themselves. And honestly, we had a great week because, well, Carter's been working nonstop, like on the weekends, in the evening time, which I knew is what I was signing up for. And honestly, I love it. Like there are some things I'm going to touch on in today's episode about potential, about guys that you date. And for example, like there are a lot of girls that require a lot of energy from their partner. Like time, you know, they would prefer a man who works maybe less. That way they can spend more time together, which of course, if I could get more time with Carter, would I love that? Yes. However, I'm not a bitch who's going to be mad if you're working till midnight. Like pop off king, do your thing. And he loves it, you guys. Like he is just a worker and I love that for him. I love that for us. And He started, a couple weeks ago now. We're on like month 1 probably. And he was really stressed because he got hired on as a litigator. And as I've told you guys before, he does not want to be an attorney for the rest of his life. That's never been his goal. It's kind of just like a stepping stone for right now to like, get places. However, if you are a litigator, the only thing you ever become is a litigator. Like, it's not a law job that really sets you up for other things. So he's been wanting to kind of like branch out and just check out different kinds of transactional, this, that, and the other. And he was really stressed because he was hired on as a litigator and he's like, oh, fuck, like, I'm not sure if I want to do this, which he already kind of knew, but it's just been a little bit messy. But he finally got the okay this week from the head partner that it's good to like explore. And, as long as you're doing your work, you're getting your shit done, you're not taking on more than you can chew, biting off more than you can chew, pop off. So he's also been having a lot more work than I think he normally would have because he's doing a lot of different things, not just in litigation, but for other partners as well, which I'm all for. And like, he is just so precious. He gets home and like, I've been cooking dinner. You guys, for those who don't know, Brenna, shut the fuck up. I never knew how to cook. I wasn't raised being taught how to cook. I was raised by a single dad who we ate fast food, yada, yada, yada. And y'all, so Monday, what did I make? Oh, I made like a beef and mushroom, kind of like I put it over pasta. It's not necessarily, I think, supposed to be for that. Carter said it would have been good with mashed potatoes, but it's like basically just mushroom and beef. And then what else did I put in there? I don't know. Delicious. I had made it once before and we really loved it. So then now I'm like experimenting. I'm like understanding what garlic tastes like or paprika or thyme, like all of the things, because you don't really know if you've never cooked. And then on Tuesday, I made Marry Me chicken orzo. Okay, you guys know I love the Marry Me chicken tortellini recipe that I've shared before. I found like an orzo recipe, which is the first time I'm also using orzo, and I love it. We love that dish. And then last night, actually, we went over, Carter has a best friend here who is also from California, and his parents were visiting to celebrate Carter's friend's brother's birthday, and they just bought a house. So like they, how parents are, they're coming to see the house and just hang out and come to Dallas. And so I picked Carter up from work because I took his car yesterday to run some errands, to go shopping. Y'all, I went to the mall and I didn't buy a thing. Story of my life. And I know you're one or the other. Like, there are people that go to the store and they buy things. And there are people like me who go to the store, you look at something for 20 minutes, you think that you want it, or you do want it, but I can't get myself to buy it. Oh my gosh. What I really went there for though was I wanted to try on some Skims bras. If you saw my Instagram story last week, which thank you to everybody who answered, I was asking for good bra recommendations. And I hate to be a bougie slut. However, like Skims, if you have felt any of their products, it's like, oh, this shit's good. And honestly, it's not that much more expensive than anything. A lot of people recommended Aerie bras. Aerie is like the American Eagle equivalent. You know how there's like Victoria's Secret and then there's Pink? Like, they're similar, they're the same parent company, but they're like two different things. That's like Aerie and American Eagle. I believe Aerie is like American Eagle's like intimate. So they have like lounge stuff, maybe bras, underwear, that sort of thing. And I went on their website and you guys, their bras were like $40, $50. Skims, $40, $50. So I'm just like, if there's no really difference, which I'm not shaming Aerie, you guys popped off with that. However, I just have had Skims products. I actually wore the Scoop bra yesterday. It's so comfortable. So I'm like, oh, I want to try. And I know that they have Skims at Nordstrom. So I went up there, but it was so picked through. They did have bras with like the little drawers that you can peek through. But if you guys know, I am new to bras. I do not own a regular bra. I'm not kidding. I just recently got rid of, I had these super old Victoria's Secret, like sheer, I don't know, I must have got them for a boyfriend at one time to be hot and sexy. Like they were never bought to wear under clothes. Like I quite literally have never really owned a real bra. I wear no bras or sports bras. So I'm trying to like mature and really get my shit together here. So that's what I did. And then they didn't have the bra. So then I didn't do anything. But I was looking around Nordstrom, you guys. They have some really cute freaking stuff right now. Like, oh, Reformation is in there. And don't get me wrong, Reformation is expensive as fuck, but I really do want to start investing in just like good quality pieces. Like I need to just figure out my style and buy things that I know I'll wear in just good quality. And Reformation is great quality, but they have the cutest little sets and skirts and dresses. I'm like, oh, and you guys, oh my gosh, I need to start buying stuff for Hawaii. Like I don't really have any bikinis. There's one bikini that I have that I love, but also I told you guys this, being around Carter's family, I'm just like, not that they're judging. And like, this is just a thing I think us girls think about in general with like a boyfriend's family, like with older people. It's like, not that I have any bras that my tits are out because I don't even have tits. Okay, but just like being naked around them, it's just like something, for some reason, I don't get self-conscious. I'm not insecure, but it's just like, it's like very intimate seeing somebody essentially naked, obviously, in your boyfriend's family. So I'm just like, oh, so I need to get some bikinis, which PacSun has always been my favorite. Okay, Brenna, I'm getting like way carried away. So anyways, I went to Nordstrom yesterday. Let's get back on track. And then I walked around there. Oh, and then I went to Aritzia. And I actually in Nordstrom wanted to look at their belts. I also posted about this last week. I need a black belt with gold hardware. And I couldn't find the belts at Nordstrom. And I didn't ask somebody because I was annoyed. And then I went to Aritzia and I wasn't really vibing with their belts, but I was loving every single thing in Aritzia. They have like denim skirts. Like Aritzia as a store is my style. Like the basics, just nice. Like obviously it's expensive, which is why I don't own everything in there. But if I could, I would. Like everything in there, I'm just like perfection in my opinion. Like that is my style. Just like square neck, regular, just like timeless, simple. You know, I didn't even go into Zara yesterday. I'm done with Zara. Like I loved their stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's just like all trendy stuff. I'll buy something, I'll never fucking touch it, and then it's out of trend. Like they have the cutest stuff, and if you're a person who like goes out and dresses up a lot, you can do that. And it's like relatively, it's not cheap, you know, like tops are what, $40, what have you. But okay, they have the cutest stuff, but I just know myself and I barely get dressed up, period. However, that's just my vibe. So I'm like, just don't even go in there because I'll end up buying something and then I won't wear it. There's actually a pink jacket that I have in my closet that has the tags on it. I bought it like 2 years ago from Zara. I'm like, bitch, what were you thinking? It's cute, but like I don't dress up enough. I just need to get my staples from Aritzia. The effortless pants, the square neck tank, in the contour and in the sculpt. Those are my favorites. Their basic tees, like all of that is my jam. So I popped in there. I loved all the clothes that they had at the moment, but didn't get a belt. Where else did I go? Oh, I love going into Dillard's and Macy's and looking at their shoes because they have Uggs, they have Steve Madden, they have everything. Super cute. Again, nothing that I need, so I didn't buy anything. I bopped over to Ulta after. Okay, so I went to North Park Center. If you're a Dallas bitch, you know. There's an Ulta across the street at the Park Lane Center, and I bought some lip liners. And I'm actually wearing one right now, and it's dark as fuck, and I feel like a different human being. I don't feel like myself. The lip products just really kind of scare me. And I bought 3 lip liners from e.l.f. They were each $2. And then I got a pencil sharpener because you have to sharpen the things, which is like so crazy to me. However, got that at e.l.f. as well. It was $2. I spent like $8.26 at e.l.f. or Ulta, okay? And got 3 lip liners. So I'm just like gonna practice and like figure this shit out, okay? Because we have some events coming up, which I wanted to talk to you about. Number 1, we're going to California for some like family things. So I need to get ready for that. We're going like the second week of October. Then that week we get back, we're going to go to this happy hour with the Genesis Young Leaders here in Dallas, which is that women and children center that I was telling you about, or shelter for women and children of domestic violence, the charity foundation. So I'm going to be involved in that. So we're going to this happy hour. So like I'm going to these things where I'm going to have to like dress and present myself nice. Oh, Carter has a client event in the beginning of November, literally the day after the election, which is a little bit scary just because I feel like there's going to be civil unrest. However, we're going to go to that, or he told me I should come to that. And like, we just have all of these like random things. Oh, one of the partners has a tent, like the bougiest fucking setup at SMU for the football game. So SMU is the university here. Number one, you guys, tuition is like $50,000, just to give you an idea. I had never heard of SMU before I moved to Dallas. And then once I arrived, I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Range Rovers everywhere, Porsches, like the richest fucking kids go to SMU. And I love that for them. I absolutely love it. However, they have a football team and their tailgating is what's on, or what's called the Boulevard, which is like this huge, sort of driveway and grassy area on campus, and people like set up tents. So it's not like at NDSU in North Dakota, you guys, it's in a parking lot. It's like the hickest of people, the most redneck people you've ever seen, slugging beers, which of course at SMU are people drinking? Yes. But Carter was telling me that this partner, like they have a live band there. Like they have this huge area. You can bring, like he said, he can bring like 10 people, unlimited food, barbecue, like all of the things. So soon we'll be going to that. And I'm hoping we'll go to the game as well. And just like all of these things. So I'm just trying to be mindful, hence why I want a belt, hence why I need like an actual bra. Okay. I'm trying to be a 27-year-old. It's hard. I feel like I'm 19 still. And it's a weird thing to come to terms with. Like, I'm not 21. I'm 27, which like I'm not, it has nothing to do with like aging, but I just like feel so young, and like I just wear sweatpants and I don't even leave my fucking house, and then I leave. So yesterday, which this is unrelated kind of, but what I was saying is that I took the car because then I got groceries and all of that as well. And so I had to pick Carter up, and he was like, oh, let's go see my friend's parents while they're in town, because he's been friends with this guy since like middle school or something. I don't really remember their timeline, but forever. So like I have met their parents actually in California one time. We stopped over during the holidays to say hello. So we went to his friend's house. He bought like one of these really nice townhomes over here in Dallas. Again, if you're in Dallas, there's a specific type of just like development, and these townhomes are like copy and paste. Maybe it's the same in other cities. Like they're these bougie, they all have the same floor plan, really nice. Okay. But we stopped over and they're Persian. So his parents had made dinner. So then I didn't have to cook last night. Not have to. I've actually been enjoying it. But we ended up eating there, which we didn't plan on. But they had just eaten by the time we stopped over. So they were like, dish up, please eat. And it was delicious. And they had a friend over. So we were just sitting there chatting. And the parents are going to buy like an investment property here, a house. So when they come and visit, they have a house, but then they'll Airbnb it the other time. So they're showing us the Zillow and all of that. And then we came home. So that was super great. Also, speaking of houses, LaDonna and Gordy are still in the goddamn paperwork phase. Okay. On Zillow, it says pending, but I don't know how long these things take. However, everything's going well. What, you think LaDonna and Gordy have a 400 credit score? No, they're good for their money. Okay, let's get this thing rolling. So I'm just waiting on them to tell me that they've officially got it, and then I'm flying my ass out there. Okay, but that's all the updates that I think I have. Let's get into the goddamn episode. Oh, books. I know. To all of you that don't read, I'm sorry, but really quickly, I read First Lie Wins by Ashley Easton. I told you last week I had started it. Loved it. Loved it. Amazing. And I'm trying to keep up on my Goodreads, you guys. The only book I'm reading now is The Woman. Oh, whoa. No. I'm reading The Great Alone, which I'm loving it. I'm at like page 100. And then as my nonfiction book for 75 Hard, I actually got on Libby, Come Together. Yes, Come Together by Emily Nagoski, which is about long-term sex and how you keep it bumping. And I'm loving it. I'm learning so much. So those are the books I'm reading. Okay, now let's get into the topic 20 minutes later. Potential. Okay, obviously I make TikToks and not reels. I'm now transitioning to the reels, but TikToks about potential and putting men on a pedestal. And I want to talk about so many different versions of this. And again, it's going to be all over the place, you guys. I have so many thoughts in my brain about this, but there are, when you're dating, you overemphasize this person. There are situations where this is your ex and you're looking back through rose-colored glasses and missing like that future that you saw. Like I kind of all categorize this together. You might be dating a guy and either number one, he love bombed you in the beginning or like came in hot and heavy and now months later, he's not that person anymore. And you are fantasizing about this past person, which isn't potential per se, but I would put that in the same category. Or you started dating a goddamn loser who you just really liked and you're like, oh, but he could be this, like he can maybe be this great person. So you're in this relationship hoping and praying that he turns into a person who's never shown you to be. Okay, all of this advice is kind of all of that. So it could be an ex, it could be somebody you're dating, it could be the dating stages, it could be a full-blown relationship. And I'm just going to give you tips and tricks on what to do. But first, I want to start off by explaining what is his potential? Number one, his potential is something that you create. It is when you have a man, okay, that you're dating or seeing or have dated, and they are a certain person, but then you go ahead and you have an outcome. Let's say you want to get married, you want kids, you want a house, okay? And so you attach this outcome, all of these things that you want onto this person. Right. It's not that this person is a shiny, wonderful, amazing man and he makes you want these things, which it's good to have these goals in this future, right? I'm not shaming that, but what we do is all of these things that we have, even you have a future wedding coming up, your best friend, and you want to date to that. So it's you start dating a guy, you're like, oh my gosh, he's going to be my date. We're going to do this. And it's whoa. This person could actually be a murderer and you have no idea, but you just want somebody. And that is also the key word, somebody. It could be anybody, but it just so happens to be whoever you start dating. You then put all of these things, these outcomes onto them. You're like, well, I want them to go to this with me and I want the wedding and the house and the kids. And it's do you even like that person? We just get so caught up in okay, putting his last name on yours. And, maybe you told your friends and family after the first date, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So then, weeks down the line, he's not really what you thought he was, but now you hyped him up to everybody. So you feel like you need to keep it going for what? I don't know. But there's so many things that we do. And at the end of the day, I'm this way too. We're lover girls. Women are we see the best in people. We want the best for ourselves. We want the house and the kids and the whatever. So we just pick anybody to fit into that. And what I would challenge you to do is if you are a person who wants marriage and kids and the house, okay, you need to want that. That is a separate thing. But what would your partner look like that will fit into that? The number one thing I would ask you is your children, okay? Because this seems to really rock people's worlds when they think about their kids. And who do you want their father to be? Do you want it to be the guy who strung you along for months and months and months, and then finally you convinced him to date you, but you cry and you're sad all the time, but you're he has so much potential, he wants kids and a marriage and all of this, not with you, it's not he's shown that, okay, but he wants these same things, so we're perfect, when really he's not perfect at all. You guys aren't compatible. I'm talking hypothetically here. He doesn't treat you well. It's would this man be a good father to your children? And also, would he be a good husband? Oh my gosh. Another question I would love to ask you is to find the man, there are men, okay, who want to be dads. They want to have kids, right? Wait, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. They want a wife and they want kids, okay? That is not what we want. We want a man who wants to be a husband and to be a father. And there's a huge fucking difference. Okay. Because every single guy on this planet wants kids. They dream of having 100 kids and they don't give a fuck who the woman is, right? They just want their legacy on, and they don't want to be a father or a husband to said wife. They just want the wife and kids like to have as like a prize, as like a trophy to show, but they have no interest in like being a good husband and being a good father. That is a huge problem. So like this man that like, yeah, you're like, oh, but we both want kids and we both want to get married. That, don't get me wrong, is a huge component to a relationship because you guys have to be compatible in those things, but that cannot be your only saving grace. Like, does he treat you well? Does he do what he say he's going to do? Is he nice? Is he somebody that you'd want your kids looking up to? I don't know. That is for you to decide. But like, instead of just having all of these hopes and dreams and just smack dab right onto this person, you're like, okay, I'm just projecting this onto this man. Those things could go on to any man. Like, that is what dating is. Like, you're trying to find the person that fits into like these things that you want, but is a good person. Like, okay, Brenna, slow your fucking roll. And when it comes to potential, I told you guys I'm going to be all over the place because I have so many thoughts on this. Like, you guys have heard me say this. I've made this TikTok like a million times. But if the man you are dating or in a relationship with or your ex, okay, if nothing were to change about that man from who he is right now, okay, who he is right this second, how he treats you, his character, if nothing were to change, would you want to be with him and would you want to marry him down the road? Would you want him to be the father of your kids? If you're like, yes, amazing. Okay. But if you're like, no, I'm waiting on him to change. No, like once he gets this, and this, or like once he does that, or like once I see that he's this, no. Because number one, oftentimes I don't think those things are going to happen. And of course, can people grow and change? Like, there is a big difference. You know, let's say you want a husband who like you go out to dinner with and like he, you know, buys you, let's say, lavish gifts or like whatever the fucking thing is. Okay, that's a bad example. But if he's like in school, you know, if he is working towards somebody or something, sorry, not somebody, he should be working towards you. However, something, and he's just in the process, like he's very hardworking. He's like getting his master's, doing the thing, and he's in a moment of time where he's just not there yet. That is different than wanting that, but also this man has no job. He has no drive. You know what I mean? So when I say that, you know the type of guy I'm talking about. Like, if you are with a man who, you know, has no job, and again, there are circumstances where there's forgiveness. If they just got let go, like, you know, I'm talking about the fucking losers. And you're like, okay, I really love him, but like, I need him to get a job, or like, I need to see that he's going to work hard and do this. He sits at home and does nothing. He hasn't put out a job application in years. Okay, that's not going to happen. Like, you can wait the rest of your life for this man to change, but he's probably not going to. And also, life's too short. Like, I just think, and this happens to so many people, and it's probably the most harmful thing, is waiting on a man to change, or like thinking that he has so much potential. Number one, when he's shown you to not even be that person. He has quite literally never shown you to be this person that you made up in your head, this hardworking, honest, trusting, loyal man. He's cheated on you, right? He doesn't do what he say he's going to do. He doesn't have a job. It's like, what are we talking about? That is who he is. These things, these qualities, and write those down. Okay. Tip number one, get in your little notes app. Okay. And write down who he is. Like, all of those things that are not perfect. Or go ahead, make the pros and cons list, because I think some girls need the pros and cons list to like really see it in front of their eyes. Like, pro, he's funny. He's hot. Great. Con, he treats me like shit. He is not consistent with me at all. He never does what he says he's going to do. Did I just say says he's going to do? Says he's going to do. No. Okay. If the cons far outweigh the pros, he's not the one, bestie, and you are falling in love with his potential. Do you hear me? Okay, let's get back onto the topic. A lot of people ask why we do this. And honestly, there are so many reasons I think that are the reason we fall for their potential, or we build them up and put them on this pedestal. And it's different for everybody. Of course, if you want to get like super, into therapy, which I've never been to therapy. And like, I hate talking about the why of things because I think a lot of it is like deep seated, let's say you have what they call an abandonment wound. I don't even really know what that means, but like, I think there are things that come from deep down below. But then I also just think like we are optimists, like we are girls, we want love, marriage and kids and like relationships have been shoved down our throats our entire life, which also I don't think is a bad thing. Like I think relationships are so fulfilling. One second, let me grab a blanket. I'm freezing my little yitters off in here. For if you're listening, sorry. If you're watching, you'll see that I'm grabbing my blankie. Okay, now we're back to it. Obviously, if you're dating or in a relationship, whatever the thing is, like you want a boyfriend. Like you're dating because you are looking for love, you are looking for a boyfriend. And so it's easy to start building them up. And like I said in that one episode, Hannah Berner actually was the first person I heard say this, is as women, we date from 100. Like we match with a guy on an app and they already have 100 points, right? They are the bee's knees. We've already pictured our life together. You might not have even met this man, but you're like, oh, it looks like he has a good job and like he has a good group of friends. And like we already start picturing the life together. And then you go on a date and like something's not adding up, or like he's not really exactly how you were hoping. Maybe he's not texting you consistently, whatever the thing is. Okay, we take off 1 point. He's still at 99 and then 98 and 97. But like we already built him up so much. Whereas men, they start from zero. It's like they start us at zero. They have no expectations. They don't dream of their lives together. And like we get points. So like they go on a date and they're like, oh, she's kind. She's this. We need to do that. And here's another thing about potential. I saw this once where like we just give them so much fucking grace. We're like, oh, but he could be this and he could be that. Men would never. Okay, if you came to a man and acted the way that they did, or just like not the best, they would say, bye. Men would never give us the grace. Why do we give them the grace? But again, I think it really is just like a womanly thing. I think we are lovers. I think we just want everything to work out. I think we see the best in people. So I'm not super interested on understanding the why as to like understanding things that we can do to stop doing that. And this kind of goes hand in hand with just like getting attached super quickly. So some of these tips have to do with that, but that also plays a part. Like sometimes, for example, when we move super fast, like you match on a dating app. Number one, you text for like weeks. You don't even meet this man in person, but he's already become like such a big part of your life. You text every day. You feel like you know them when you quite literally have never met them. You go on one date, right? And then the next night you're over there doing Netflix and chill. And it's like, holy fuck, like we just skipped so many steps. You're already like 100% in this thing and you have hung out with this man once. And then you go and hang out at his house. You don't even go on another date. So it's like, he's not even having to put in any effort. So like, yeah, you do start like adding all of these qualities to him. You're like, well, yeah, he planned like the first date. And so like he puts an effort, but like really you drive to his house and then you sit on his couch. Like you have no way of seeing like who that man is. Like anybody can sit and watch a movie together and fuck. Hello. But then also, don't have sex with them early on because that gets us attached just like deep in our core. There's just so many things. And I hate making rules because do I think, you've heard me say this before, you can go on a first date and hook up. And if that's your person, like that will always work out. Like I don't think that sex will ever deter, like it will never ruin a man that is meant for you or a relationship that's meant for you. However, there are these things we can do just to like manage ourselves. Like if you know you get attached easily, right? Don't have sex. Okay. I've talked about this before, but number one, what can we do? Do the Notes app. Okay. Especially if this is an ex-boyfriend that you keep looking back and you're like, oh, but like, just what if he would have changed? Like, what if he just would have started treating me better? It's like, but bitch, he didn't. He never did. Okay, so take off the glasses. Take off the motherfucking glasses. Okay, and start a Notes app and write down all of the not good things he said, not good things he did. Even if he wasn't mean, just like the ways that you weren't compatible, you know, the qualities that he didn't have, the ones that you wanted him to have, but he didn't. write that in your notes app and go back to it whenever you start fantasizing. Even maybe do it like if you're dating, like with Carter, for example, who is my person, like there wouldn't have been a negative thing to say. So I feel like if you're dating and there's already negative things, it's just not a good thing. Okay. But just to keep you centered, and when you are dating, okay, list out, have in your notes app, the qualities that you want your partner to have. And think about future you. Think about you married to a man and the father of your kids. What would you want that man to be like? And I wrote a few like questions in mine. I put, does he plan dates? Put in effort. Okay, when you're dating, like I am gonna need a man in the future who like gets shit done, okay, who isn't lazy, who puts in effort in the early like first parts of dating when it's the easiest, because then when we're married, when we have kids, like I'm gonna need him to put in effort to be a dad, to like pick up slack around things. Like if he can't even put in effort to go on a first date or a second date, if he can't even plan a date, imagine that guy is a father. Okay, you're gonna be doing everything yourself. I'm just saying. So like that's where I pulled that from. Number 2, does he do what he says he's going to do? Okay, when he tells me that we're going on a date on Friday night, does it happen? Does he plan, does he do whatever he said is going to happen? Okay, because in the future, when I'm a mother, when I'm a wife, when I ask him to do something or he tells me that he's going to take care of something, he's going to fucking do it. Like if he, again, in the dating stages, can't just do like these simple things, because really, you guys, dating is so easy. Dating is so easy. All you are asking these men to do is to plan a date, pick a time and a place, right? To maybe pick you up. Like it's all very small things. If he cannot do that, think of him as your husband, as the father of your kids. Like he's going to tell you that he's going to take care of yard work and then he doesn't. Like that is how it translates. Like it's not a far jump to assume. So that's what I'm saying. Like these qualities you want a future partner to have. If you don't want kids, okay, whatever. But like relate that to yourself. Number 3, is he respectful? Is he kind? Okay, because if in the first month of dating, this guy's already called you names, he doesn't compliment you, he's not really that nice to you, oh my God, I couldn't live like that, because I need a husband who's going to be kind to me. And then my kids, like if we have a daughter or a son, okay, are they going to be kind with them? Of course. Are you going to parent and probably fucking yell at them? Duh. But you know what I'm saying? Like if he has no compassion towards you or isn't kind and respectful to you in dating, and also not even to the kids, like to you 10 years down the road, if he's not even respectful to you in the first year, oh my gosh, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. Okay. Number 4, again, I just like wrote these things down. Sorry. I'm just kind of like going in order. Is he hardworking and ambitious? Again, this is a quality that I want in a future husband, and it goes hand in hand with the doing what he says he's going to do. Like I have a certain expectation for my life, our life. And if he's a lazy piece of shit in dating, like you realize that, you see that, but you dream of this like beautiful house one day and a man who's hardworking and makes a certain amount of money. I know we like to villainize money and like being a gold digger, but like if you have a certain expectation for your life, if you don't want to like suffer, if you don't want to be broke, okay, yeah, it's going to require. Also, there are qualities you should also have. Well, hot take, which isn't a hot take at all. These qualities also that you're looking for in a man, you should have. Okay, that I never really talk about, but I should do an episode on it. Like what you are expecting out of your partner, I assume that you are that person too. Okay. And it's a little different when we come to like working, because if you're a traditional person, but like being a stay-at-home mom is hard work. So I would say you're still ambitious and hardworking. But like if you want him to be kind and respectful and gentle or what have you, whatever words you want to use, I expect you to be that way to them too. If you want him to be a person who does what he says he's going to do, I expect you to also be that way. So let me just get that clear. Okay. And number 5, is his social media clean? Again, people would think this is crazy, but like when I was dating, I would check the guys that I'm dating, their social media. Okay. Because if he is lusting over women online, like I don't want to be married to a man who down the line has a porn addiction or is still lusting over women. I couldn't live like that. I think that's disgusting. I think it shows a lack of character. I think it just is like such a gross thing. And I think it shows how, what is the right word? Like, I think a weak man looks and lusts over women online. Like, that's just that. I think weak men do that, watch porn. Like, it's scientifically proven to be bad for men. Like, if you're doing that, no, I'm not interested, because I'm not going to be married and have children and be worrying about you watching chicks with her boobs out on Instagram. Like, no. Okay. And that is fine. So again, yours don't have to be this. If you don't agree with the things that I said, that is fine. I'm not saying this is your blueprint, but like think about your future you, the husband, the father of your kids. What are the qualities you want him to have? And then translate those so you can spot those in dating and keep track. So go into dating, try your best not to start at 100, start at 0 and be like, okay, does he do what he says he's going to do? Is he putting in effort, planning dates? Is he respectful, kind? Like, go through it. And if he's not, okay, he's not the one. And like, then, like if you're months into dating, let's say, and you're like, oh, that's a really good idea. Go through this list. And if he is not those things, you're romanticizing him. You're falling in love with his potential. You are holding on to this person that is not the one that you want for your life. Like, these outcomes that I told you, you're projecting onto him. Like, you need to start projecting him into that life and see if he fits. Does that make sense? Oh, and another thing that I wanted to say about this is because I feel like oftentimes, especially when we're younger, we're like, oh, he's funny. Funny is not going to pay your bills. Funny is not going to help if he's an asshole to you and your children. Okay, of course, do I think like having similar sense of humors is good? Sure, but like I want tangible qualities. His character. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, he's hot? Cool. Hot is not going to pay the bills. Hot is not going to be a good husband to you. Like, that's not promising that. Could they be hot and also be a good partner? Yes. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel we oftentimes, oh, we have the same music taste. We can go to all of these concerts together. Concerts are going to be 0.5% of your lifetime. That is not going to be raising your children. Like, you're having the same music interests. Like, so often in dating, we like latch on to these weird things that it's like, I get where you're coming from. And I used to do this. Like, me and Carter do not listen to the same music. Does it affect our relationship at all? No, of course. In the car, like when we went on our road trip, he'll play his music. Like, am I loving it? No, but like that has nothing to do with our bond. I'm talking about tangible characteristics and like who his character is. Like, I don't want to see in your pros and cons list, he's hot, he's funny, we have the same music taste. Okay, those things really don't mean that much. Like, truthfully, they don't mean much at all. I need him to be putting in effort. I need to have him do what he says he's going to do. You know what I mean? Okay, let's just start going down this little list that I have of just like how to stop, little topics that I wanted to talk about. Slow down. If you're dating, okay, just take a step back. Sometimes we get caught up. We go a little fucking crazy. Also with that, stay off of his social media. And I think social media has just like ruined us because we're able to see what they're doing, or like we go online and we see that they have great friends. Again, another thing, like, yes, it's a good sign if he has good friends, but like that still has nothing to do with the way that he treats you and the way he's going to show up for you in a relationship. You know what I mean? And like sometimes, we start dating, and I feel like, again, this was when I was younger, but it's like we want to just like have the boyfriend to post on social media again. So you're like, oh, I'm dating this guy. I finally have somebody who like gets me excited, and then I can post on social media to show everybody that I have a boyfriend. It's like, again, wrong reason. So like in the beginning, slow down, stay off socials. Don't try and like fit them into this weird, don't be checking in on them. Don't start like adding points to certain things. Even still, like having a good family, like that is a completely random thing. Like some people were born into horrible families. Like, we all have trauma. We all have our situations. Is somebody less than because their parents are assholes? No. So like, not to say that, obviously, I think if they come from a good family, I'm sure they learned some good like morals and things. And again, that will translate into how he treats you. But like, just because you see on Instagram that he posts his Christmas fucking card from every year, that doesn't really mean that much. Does that make sense? I really hope that you guys are here with me. Okay, quit listening to his words. And I hear John Deloney say this, and I'm not sure if it's his quote or others, but if your partner were not able to speak, or like this guy who you're dating, whatever, if they couldn't speak, what would their actions tell you or show you? Okay, if you could not listen to their words, because so often, right, a guy will, oh yeah, we'll go here and we'll do this thing. And so like, we get so excited about these future things. It's like, are those plans actually following through? Or, you know, he says he likes you and that he misses you and he texts you all the time, and like, cool and fucking dandy. But if every time then you're in person and he treats you like garbage, I don't give a shit about these texts or what he's saying or the trips that he promised you. And again, it's like, when we talk about potential, we get so wrapped up in like these sort of things that it's like, come down to reality. Okay, if he could not speak, what would his actions show you? Okay, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not great. Just another little tip. And I'm following up with an even better one. Okay, quit making excuses for this man. When we live in the land of potential and things, it's like, yeah, well, he can't treat me that well right now because he hasn't gone to therapy yet, because he has childhood trauma. I don't give a fuck. That is sad. We all have trauma. Again, change is an inside job. He is going to want to have to. So if you're sitting there encouraging him to go to therapy and he's never going to therapy, but you're like, oh, this would be so much better if he, you know, went to therapy and figured out his traumas, but he's not. Okay, again, quit living in the land of fucking fakeness. You're not in the land of reality. You're like Miss Dreamer Girl, Miss Bob the Builder, Miss Fantasy Land. Okay, Miss Potential. No. Okay, because a months down the road, you're still sitting here trying to get him to go to therapy, and because you think it's going to make him a different man. Number one, it's not even going to make him a different man. But number two, he has to want those things. Okay, which this is a harder one, I believe. Like, I think this is one of the harder things to get over when you are either love bombed, or I hate when we like just toss around terms, because I just think it can be toxic. And I think some people toss them around where it doesn't really fit. If you started dating a guy and he did all of the things to get you and he was really great in the beginning, I feel like girls go through this all the time. He pulled out all the stops. He put in the effort. He did what he said he was going to do. But now you're a year into the relationship, and for the past 6 months, he's lazy. He no longer does those things. He doesn't take you on dates. Like, you're sitting here. And the reason I think this is worse is because you saw that person. It's not where like you're dating a complete loser bum and you're just like, but he could be great. Like, that is Delulu 1000%. But if you saw him be a version that you really enjoyed, okay, and now he's not that person, like, who people are in the very beginning of dating, like, we always put our best foot forward, and there are levels. Like, of course, naturally we're going to get a little bit lazy in a relationship, but like, those fundamental things should still be there. They should still be putting in the effort and like doing those things to make you happy and whatever. But if they are literally a 180, you have got to let go of who that person was, this man that he like was at the very beginning to get you, and take a good hard look at who he is and say, this is not serving me, and say, I don't know what happened. I would obviously have a conversation. I don't know who that was. If that was a different person, or all of a sudden you just fell into the deepest, darkest depression and now you're a completely different human. But like, I need different, or I'm out of here. And another tip when dating a guy, just in general, and why I hone in on these things, is you need to have your boundaries, and you need to set them so firm and get rid of the men as soon as a boundary is crossed, or as soon as you start seeing those red flags, because the longer you go, the harder it gets. And I'm not excusing women who stay in things super, super long and waste their own time, because I still think you should leave, but it does get harder the more time you invest, because it feels like an investment, but it's not. Okay. our relationships, it's not an investment. The more you put in, it is not guaranteed to get better. Okay. It is just time that you're putting in. So you can either continue to keep wasting your own time or you can get out. So I would highly recommend that in that beginning, when you're like, oh, but like he could be this and he could be that, get out quickly, because the longer you sit there and hope and like delulu your way into a relationship, and then now you're 5 years down the road and you should have gotten out in month 2, it does get harder, and that's just the reality. So just try your very best to put your foot down right away. And then if something ends, I know we sit there and we ruminate and we're like, but what if he would have changed? But what if he would have done that? But what if he wouldn't? You have to just put that to rest and say, but he didn't. He wasn't doing those things. He didn't do those things. There are good chances, good odds that he would have never done those things. And you just have to understand and quit saying like, but what if? But what if no? Because he would have just done that thing. Like, and I hate to always make me and Carter the example. And I do think that me and Carter have like a very not special connection, but we just mesh super, super well. Like our personalities complement each other very well. But regardless of that, even boys that I dated in the past that didn't end up being my person, they treated me well from the beginning. They were that person and they stayed that person. Okay, so like if there were glaring issues in the beginning like that, I just don't believe is your person. And I just need you to have hope and not sit there and ruminate over the exes, and know that like your person and your relationship will start out strong. And also like when you think about your future kids and family, like that story that you want, because I know you want like this fairy tale story, which I think can be toxic. Obviously, life, reality, this world is not a fairy tale. But like if you've always thought, you know, me and my partner, my husband, my whatever you want to call them, you have an idea of the way that you start dating and it's like positive and he took you on dates and it was happy and it was great. If you're in a relationship and that was like not the case, it's like, what are you talking about? Like when you tell your daughter that you had to convince her dad to date you, when you tell people your whole life how you met and like the dating story, and it's always like, oh, well, you know, it was like hella toxic and he treated me like shit and he's probably still treating you like shit. Like think about that as well. Like I always know that like if a relationship starts with like cheating, for example, do you want that to be your story? No. Every single time in your life, somebody's gonna be like, oh, tell us about when you started dating. You're like, oh, well, that first month, like, yeah, he was still talking and seeing his ex. Like, ew, no good love story is gonna start like that, in my opinion. So think about that. And really, at the end of the day, you guys, you have to remember that he is just a boy. We get so fucking crazy over a man when there are men everywhere. There are millions of men out there. And I don't want to diminish because we are all unique and wonderful people. But like at the end of the day, you will have this man ruining your life, so upset, so hoping and praying that they change into be a person that they aren't, when you could just go and find that person. Like quit liking them for who they could be and start looking at them for who they are. And I just need you to ground yourself in reality. We all love to be a little delulu, and being delulu can be a good thing, but in relationships, it's not. When things have not been going well, but you keep hoping and just staying in it for all of the wrong reasons because of this fantasy boy that you just want to pop out of thin air and be this guy who he's never been. Like, I just need you to also have self-respect and self-love. And I feel like once you get stronger in knowing who you are and being more confident and being more secure, the less you let this shit slide. Like for me, that was never going to be the case. Like if there was a man who wasn't acting right, no, I have too much self-respect for myself and I want more out of this life than to be miserable and to choose a partner who isn't really who I want them to be, but I just decided that they are going to be my forever person. Although I'm miserable, although it could be better. No, life is too short. Okay, so I just really, really challenge you to like be conscious of this. And if you're dating, like really try and start and date from zero. Like check those boxes of what you're looking for. And if they don't, on to the next. There are too many people out there. Life is too short. You could just be single. Like really, you could be single and happy on your own. There are so many people out there that are doing way better off than some women that are in relationships with men that they aren't happy with, that they're still hoping that they will change. And I just will never stand for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm going to top us off here. I hope that this was helpful. I hope maybe this is an episode if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, you can come to this and listen to it, but quit dating these men for their potential. It's never worth it. Okay. They don't become this person. Like you are wanting them to become a completely different person. Nope. He is just a boy. You have to take him off the pedestal that you put him on, because oftentimes we reflect onto them. Like I did this in the past. I'm like, I'm great. I'm hardworking. I'm wonderful. So I'm going to make them be that person. Like they're going to get that from me and I'm going to fix them and make them better. And then they're going to love me more. No, take them down. Like you are great. You are special. You are wonderful, but you need a partner that is also those things, not somebody who's a fuck up. Okay. Or just like doesn't treat you well. They aren't necessarily always horrible, but like you can sit there and like hope for them to change, or you can just goodbye and find a person who matches you on all of those things. And I promise you that relationship is going to be incredible. Okay. So take him off the pedestal. He's just a boy. There are millions of other men out there that could make you so happy and have the qualities that you're looking for and actually are that person that you're creating in your head. That person is out there. Okay. So do not settle. I love you guys so much. I hope you have the best week and I will see you next week. Okay. Bye guys.